Last week we suffered the single most crushing loss I've ever had in Draft League, but the season's not over yet. What's up guys, my name is Saget, and today we're playing our Week 7 match against KingOfLies. KingOfLies is one of the 2 players yet to win a set this season, in 23rd place, just ahead of Richer. After our loss last week, we're down to 2-4 and in 19th place in the standings. To make the playoffs, you have to be one of the top 12 teams, so we're going to have to be as close to perfect as possible. It's worth noting that last season we were also 2-4 going into Week 7 and finished the season with 4 straight wins, but it will be very tough to even win 3 of our last 4, much less repeat last season with 4 wins. Only one undefeated coach is left, that being Yuliko. He's technically got a win streak going back to the middle of last season, which is insane. KingOfLies has some very scary Pokemon. Leading the way is Iron Valiant. Thanks to Booster Energy being legal this season, Iron Valiant is a huge threat. It's hard to prepare for because both of its attacking stats are high enough to be insanely threatening when boosted, or it can opt to boost its speed and still output offensive pressure or use great supportive moves like Taunt, Encore, and Coaching. Salamence is another dynamic threat that I have to deal with. With Intimidate, it cripples my physical attackers while supporting the team with Tailwind. Much like Valiant, it can also attack both physically and specially, with KingOfLies opting for special sets more often than physical ones. Completing the Dragon Fairy Steel trio is Jirachi. Jirachi has a great typing and bulk, and thanks to Serene Grace, being slower than it means you are in danger of being flinched by Iron Head or Zen Headbutt. The star of this team so far this season has been Rampardos. With the combination of a base 165 attack stat, Sheer Force, and Life Orb, it's a threat to one-hit KO many Pokemon with Rock Slide. I'll have to make quick work of Rampardos if I want to contain this team's damage output. That may be hard though thanks to Shift Tree. Shift Tree is capable of disrupting me with Fake Out, and then hitting me very hard once Tailwind is up thanks to Wind Rider. Another disruptive Pokemon is Rotom Heat. Will-O-Wisp is always very strong into my team because it's so good against Diancie and Glastrier, and Overheat is sure to do a ton of damage to my Ice types. The last Pokemon worth mentioning is Skarmory, who's kind of like a light Corviknight. It can set up with Iron Defense and do tons of damage with Body Press, while supporting with Tailwind, and doing serviceable damage with Brave Bird or Iron Head. My first Pokemon this week is Diancie. With Terra Electric, I can resist steel moves while removing all weaknesses except ground, which I'm not very threatened by here. With Covert Cloak, I can make sure I don't get flinched by Fake Out, Iron Head, or Air Slash. And along with my usual combination of Diamond Storm and Body Press, I have Moonblast, since Fairy is good into Iron Valiant, Salamence, and Shift Tree. My last move is Trick Room. I went back and forth on whether or not I really needed it this week, but I think this team is just too fast not to have it. On that note, I've also got Slowking this week. Slowking matches up great in Iron Valiant, resisting both of its stabs and one-hit KOing it with Sludge Bomb. Foul Play lets me hit Jirachi and also does insane damage to Rampardos. With Mental Herb, I can make sure I can get my Trick Room up and then Chilly Reception the next turn to bring in Glastrier. Glastrier is running Clear Amulet this week to make sure Salamence doesn't cause any problems. I've also got Terra Poison to resist fighting type moves from Valiant and take neutral damage from Steel and Rock. With Icicle Crash, Heavy Slam, and High Horsepower, I have a super effective move on almost every prevalent Pokemon on the team, Rotom and Skarmory being the notable exceptions. Further helping Glastrier is Abomasnow, who I've made bulky enough to live a Rock Slide from non-Terra Rampardos, among other things. This is to ensure that I can use Light Clay instead of Focus Sash, so once Aurora Veil is up, it will stay up for pretty much the rest of the game. I also have Blizzard and Energy Ball for attacks. They should be one-hit KOs into Salamence and Rampardos, respectively. This might finally be Milotic's week to pop off. With competitive, Salamence is forced to run Moxie or stay behind, or face the consequences of giving Milotic +2 special attack. The combination of Scald, Ice Beam, and Alluring Voice lets me hit each of Valiant, Salamence, and Rampardos for super effective damage. Finally, I have Hitmonchan. Assault Vest should let me live a boosted Moonblast, and with Inner Focus, I can avoid being intimidated or flinched. Fake Out gives me a turn to set up Trick Room or Aurora Veil. Low Kick is a one-hit KO on both Rampardos and Shift Tree, assuming some offensive investment, and Knock Off lets me hit Jirachi super effectively. Finally, I have Mach Punch to pick up a KO on one of the aforementioned Pokemon in a pinch. A win here would be great to start picking up some momentum into this very difficult last stretch of the season. Please enjoy the battle. Hey guys, so for whatever reason, OBS decided to change my microphone settings before I hit record on this, so there is no live commentary. I will be able to do a post commentary, but I just want to let you know that. And that's also why I am covering up the webcam, because I'm just going to be moving my mouth and no sound comes out. So I decided to lead with Hitmonchan and Diancie. Gonna get my Trick Room up here. And really, I didn't feel that threatened by anything. Valiant does not have a fighting move, which is worth noting. That makes Glastrier really good here. And then every other set was pretty standard as far as I remember. I do remember Rampardos having Earthquake being a little bit concerning. But yeah, no Choice Scarf on the Jirachi. No Choice Scarf anywhere to really worry about. And Shiftry was running Fake Out, Tailwind, and Seed Bomb. So yeah, I felt pretty good about this lead. Just fake out whatever I need to. Obviously, Diancie walls out Salamence really hard, so I'm absolutely free to just get my Trick Room up here. And then in the back, I had Glastrier and Milotic. Milotic's just super strong into Salamence, so I thought I might get some kills with it, have an opportunity to get some kills, but yeah, ultimately, it ended up being a pretty Trick Room heavy week. So yeah, I just fake out into the Salamence here. I'm not really threatened by either of these Pokemon. So it really didn't matter who I used Fake Out on, and I ultimately ended up hitting into a double protect anyway, so my Trick Room's up. And yeah, Diamond Storm is super good into both of these Pokemon, so that's pretty free. And Hitmonchan's just here to do a little extra damage. So I end up using Knockoff into Rotom and Diamond Storm. This is just to make sure I pick up the KO on Rotom because it is a lot more threatening than Salamence this turn. I get my defense boost there. I did forget about the Citrus Berry, though, so the Knockoff doesn't end up killing there. But luckily, it's just a Volt Switch out, and it's not like it really could have done that much to Diancie anyway. So yeah, here we get Rampardos. Now, Rampardos is pretty strong in Trick Room. However, because it's Terra Steel, Salamence is also Terra Steel, by the way, it really can't Terra out of a weakness to fighting. So I'm really safe to just use Body Press into that slot. I have enough Trick Room turns, and really, I'm not threatened at all by Salamence, so even if it protects, I can just keep going for it. And yeah, I just go for the knockoff into Salamence there. That's just free damage. And I don't think it'll pick up, but it might. I'm actually trying to remember if it would or not. I don't think it did because I'm fairly confident that an Air Slash comes out here and kills me. But yeah. Just going to end up hitting that knockoff and Body Press play. So Body Press does pick up a one-hit KO on Rampardos there. And yeah, knockoff hits into the Protect, trying to stall out some Trick Room turns. So yeah, I'm feeling really good about this. Diancie's pretty unstoppable into this team. There's Jirachi, the one Pokemon that does pose a good threat into Diancie with the Steel moves, and I don't have a way to hit it super effectively. But yeah, we're going to be able to chip it down just fine. It doesn't have Protect, so I'm free to knock off into that slot and do some good damage. And, of course, I'm not threatened by Salamence at all, so I can ignore it and double into the Jirachi if I want to. Which is going to be the play along with a Terra Electric to make sure that if it somehow does live this double up, I don't get killed by an Iron Head. So, yeah, gonna go ahead and double into that Jirachi slot. Really solid damage with the Body Press there, and the knockoff finishes it off. And yeah, here's that Air Slash I was talking about that kills Hitmonchan, which is unfortunate. It would have been nice to get a clean sweep. I really deliberated here on whether to go to Milotic or Glastrier, but with the turn of Trick Room up, I felt like it was safer to go to Glastrier. And it pressures Salamence really hard now, especially that Terra has been burned. I can just Ice Cold Crash into that slot for free. And Diamond Storm should pick up on Rotom, so even if they decide to stall out this turn, I'm in so strong of a position that there's no way that I end up losing, and he doesn't end up stalling, so we just pick up both KOs and move on to Game 2. So I ended up going with the same 4 in Game 2. That lead just felt so strong. There wasn't much that could be done about it. Now, there is Shiftry, which poses an interesting threat to Diancie because Seed Bomb would probably do around half, but all I have to do is Terra. You know, I'm holding the Covert Cloak, so I can't be flinched by Fake Out, so really, I don't even need to use Fake Out. I can just Terra Trick Room, especially knowing that we saw a double Protect last game. He's probably going to want to protect that Salamence, so I can pretty freely just go for a low kick onto Shiftry, which is a one-hit KO. It is sashed, but, you know, always nice to get it down there, and then just Trick Room. So yeah, Fake Out into the Diancie. Of course, not going to flinch because of the Covert Cloak. Low kick takes Shiftry down to sash there, and then I get my Trick Room up. And honestly, I would like Mach Punch into the Shiftry slot, but I'm pretty confident that as long as my Diamond Storm doesn't miss, it's going to punish any option from that slot. So I can just switch into Glastrier here. I'm not threatened by Salamence, and the Shift Tree slot either has to switch or protect or die. Again, praying for no miss there. So yeah, I can safely bring in Glastrier to thrive in Trick Room and hit a Diamond Storm here. Now, if Salamence were to Terra, that would be unfortunate. I wouldn't get that much damage, but ultimately I'd just be able to body press next turn, and it really is not threatening me in the slightest. So I do pick up the kill there and get Salamence down to a third. Unfortunate crit on Glastrier there, but I don't think it matters too much. I've still got so much health. And yeah, same situation here with the Rampardos as last game, where it doesn't matter whether or not it Terras because it's still going to be weak to both ground and fighting. So I safely go for high horsepower there. It's going to kill whether rock or steel type. And then for the Salamence, I just go Diamond Storm, you know, in case of a switch or in case high horsepower somehow doesn't kill Rampardos. I'll have that extra chip into that slot. And yeah, that's my play here. Pretty safe. Honestly, with Trick Room up, Glastrier and Diancie are just so strong. There's really nothing that can contend with them there. The issue is just getting in this position is hard to do most weeks, but I had a really strong lead this time around, and so here's the Valiant, and yeah, it just is absolute food for Glastrier. It will die to a heavy slam here no matter what. And also Salamence is pretty much dead weight because it protected last turn, so I can Moonblast into that slot, and that should be the end of the set here. Unless, of course, Valiant protects or Salamence gets a double protect, but there's just not enough turns and not enough damage on the other side to bring this game back. I still have Fake Out in the back, and of course I still have Milotic in the back. So there's the one-hit KO there. Get my Chilling Neigh boost, and Moonblast finishes it off. So yeah, great showing this week, and we really needed it after last week. It was a very tough loss, and we're going to need it for the rest of the season, really. I mean, we've got 3 very tough weeks ahead of us. Really, I probably need to win all 3 to make playoffs. There's a universe where I can lose one of them and still make the playoffs via a tiebreaker, but I'd really prefer to just win all 3. And of course, if we don't win all 3, there's still the cup at the end of the season. It's not the end of the world, but yeah, playoffs is always the goal. So other than that, just really happy with how the team played this week. Unfortunately, I didn't get to get that many kills with Milotic. Well, I didn't get any kills with Milotic, but yeah, my trio of Hitmonchan, Diancie, and Glastrier was just so strong that I didn't want to risk anything trying to force it. I would rather just take my safe win, and that's that. So yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully I don't have any more mic issues this season, although this was not that bad. I had a lot of fun. So anyway, thanks, and goodbye.